Hi, Dan.
Wait, are you starting?
No,
Are you going? Are you going? That's perfect.
It's rolling.
See,
Hi, Dan.
okay, now I was going to say,
Yeah. Hey, buddy.
hello, homeschoolers.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's your thing.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Hi,
no,
friend. Hello, friend.
I still have no greetings. I don't really have to identify this young man, but I will. This is Tom Bukovac.
Oh.
Your Uncle Larry, your dear Uncle Larry, the guy who
Yes.
single-handedly ushered me into investing myself in the guitar again, befriending it. He didn't just nudge me, he ridiculed me, laughed at me, and got me to even record a record. So I owe you that debt of gratitude. And then you
If
even...
that really is true, you know what that means to me? If that really is true,
It's very true.
that means a lot to me, man.
It truly is. And you know, Paul Franklin was a part of that.
Yes.
And Mike Reed, who I don't know if you know Mike Reed, but...
I do. I was just looking at his football card today.
Oh.
I have all his cards.
Okay, so there you go. Yeah, Cincinnati Bengal, right?
Yeah, buddy.
But no, but in this is going to be, this is about you. So, and I have to, I'm going to say to, which camera am I looking
I
at?
was just getting ready to say, this is going to be main camera.
That's good.
Why are you holding one?
He's going to move.
I'm an idiot and I forgot my other lens.
That's great. No, and none of
You're
this gets
gonna get
edited out.
tired,
There should be no edits in this.
You're never going to be able to hold it that long.
Oh, I got it.
No, dude.
You
I'm
got
a
it.
seasoned
Okay.
pro at this
All right.
thing.
Well, there's a tripod right there.
I know, but
He is the
you
tripod.
want the specs on it?
I got you.
I've got a 50
You got it.
millimeter lens,
Yeah.
so it's too
Okay.
close. So.
I got you. I got you.
So the truth is, and I will have to tell all of you, we're going to try not to edit this because this is more fun. We've had a 30-minute conversation, of which probably 29 minutes could have been printed. But
Yeah.
we didn't have the cameras
Yeah.
going. But
There was some good stuff in there.
but here's the thing,
Yeah.
and I'm going to lose my train of thought a lot. So
Yeah, me too.
But this is what, and I do have actual questions. But
Okay.
this was the one thing I got caught up in a minute
Yeah.
ago. A minute being a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
when you were gracious enough to say you would come on my fledgling
Yes,
building
of course.
YouTube channel. I
Which
thought
is
I'm going to
doing
ask
great, by the
questions.
way.
I'm going to
Doing
ask questions
Yeah.
of single-handedly. Forget your guitar playing, your great musicianship. You are single-handedly one of the best questioners I've ever met.
Oh, man.
And so I thought, okay, go with it, Dan. Just, you can't compete. So inevitably what's going to happen, he's going to keep turning this thing around
Yeah.
and we're going to catch him. So I'm going to start it, and then you're going to do what you're going to do, Tom.
You know where that all started, the whole question thing? I remember it. When I was very young, 20s, early 20s, I never liked the awkward, uncomfortable silence like at parties and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go to a dinner with a bunch of people and everyone's just sitting there trying to outcool each other. I never liked that. And I don't even like it on sessions when people are trying to outcool each other and not say anything. So I always have to sort of, for my own comfort, get people talking. Mm-hmm. And the question thing is just a great way to do that. And you know, I've always just thought it was a really, because people, you ever notice the way people light up, like, you know, like in any kind of get together, go around the room and tell a little bit about yourself, you know.
Yeah.
People they like that, and you know, if you ask them provocative questions, people like that, and man, it's just a great way to learn, man. You know, like find somebody who's done some really interesting shit like you have, and why talk? Just ask questions, and it's fascinating, man.
Do you have to like improvisation with playing the guitar your whole life? Mm-hmm. Did you have to practice and up your level of question asking?
Oh, dude, it's a science. Oh, yeah, I've been working on that. I've been practicing that like I practice guitar, and it's great, you know, because you I don't know how you'd say it. It's like I like to get right on the edge.
Yeah, you do.
You know, push it as far as you can go without making anybody uncomfortable. That's what I like to do.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this is the perfect setup
Yeah.
for my.
Yeah.
Okay, so given this vast talent that you have, and I'm not the only person who says it. Everybody else says it too.
They always call me the question man.
And
That's
it's great.
true.
And I will say to everybody out there, I've been in countless sessions with Tom, and it is an art form, and it's always added value to to what we're trying to do. I mean, it's just a whole. You take it. It's fun. It's
fun.
educational.
Yeah, it's fun, yeah.
And every once in a while it can derail everything too. But that's what. But no. But okay.
And
So
it has.
here's
It
the. But here's the question.
Yeah.
Okay. The
Yeah.
first question today. If there was a question that you would ask of yourself, what you're going to ask yourself?
Oh Lord, I'd have to really think about that.
You didn't think about that one, did you?
I usually start about with the musical questions just to get things going. Like
Ask yourself a personal question.
personal question. Well, my son asked me the other day. He's a big question asker too. My oldest.
Big surprise
He,
there.
yeah, the old genetics, the power of genetics. But he was like, eating his lunch. He's like, "What are your biggest regrets, Dad?" And man, that opened up a lot of thoughts. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's something.
What's a question that like to be known more than just your musicianship, your personality. Right now you've been doing this. A lot of people know you. What's the part of you that, and you can get as personal as you want or not. But seriously, I mean, there's always things about each of us that we'd like people to know, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
we have preconceived ideas. What's something that there's a preconceived idea of who Tom Bukovac is. What's not part of that equation?
I don't know. I feel like I'm a late bloomer. Everything that everyone else did real easy, it took me forever. Because I had a kind of a strange childhood growing up, and came from Cleveland. There was not really a lot of stuff going on there in the music business and all that stuff. So I look around at some like my own kids and stuff, and like the leg up that they have, and like all the people they already know just because of living in proximity to, like, I feel like I'm actually amazed that I was able to crawl out from the rock that I had to start under. You were lucky. You had parents in the business, and you were in good music cities.
Right.
I wish I would have had that. And man, I ended up getting where I needed to be, but it took a lot longer than it should have. I mean, I look at the fact that I was just getting my life figured out, even roughly by early 30s, and you think about the Beatles were already broken up by that point. These people were doing amazing things in their 20s, and I was just trying to find my footing. So I feel like I've been able to share that gift with my kids. If they want to play music, they won't have to go through that. Right. They'll be able to start with a leg up. But I just think I think that's the thing. I think about that a lot. Like,
but okay, so here's devil's advocate though.
Yeah.
Okay, late bloomer, but
Very late.
Strong finisher and still finishing. So part of that is part of the soup that is also who you are. I mean, without that, then who are you?
Right, exactly. I mean, there's all that. It takes me forever to get there, but once I get there, you're right. I got it, and it's I'm okay with that. Like, for years and years and years, people would say things like, "Man, these little riffs you play and goof around, you should make records. You should record that stuff." I didn't even make my first record till I was 50 years old. Isn't that crazy?
Mine when I was 64.
Yeah, it's 64. Yeah, but you made solo albums before that, yeah?
No,
you never did.
No.
Well, okay, so we're in the same boat then in that regard. I remember Joe Glazer, who's a dear friend of all of us. He would say years ago, he'd say, "Man, you got even if you're the only person that ever hears it, you should make a record."
Yeah, was he the one that prompted you?
Yeah, and it was he's always been very supportive, and he's like, "It doesn't matter who hears it. Make a dozen copies. Yeah. You just got to do something just to document the fact that you were here, right?" And he's right, and I think that was good advice. And then, like anything, once you get a taste of it, once you do it, then you're like, "Man, I should have done this a long time ago." One thing that was cool about starting the YouTube channel so late, which I didn't start until I was 50, 2020. People said, "Man, do you wish you would have started that a lot earlier? You wouldn't be able to do that." And I'm like, not really, because one of the things that made it, I think, interesting for people is that there was so much experience to draw from. I could tell 50 years worth of stories from the battlefields, right? And that kind of gave it a little bit of credibility, I think, that it wouldn't have had if I was some 25-year-old dude trying to tell people what it's like out there, right?
Right.
So I'd already been through all that, and it was good to have that experience to draw from. And I'm kind of glad I waited to start it. You know, you know what I mean?
Okay, so
Yeah.
all this experience. I mean, and the funny thing is, I have a list of questions,
Yeah,
and we're
you won't
already so
need it.
far out of that. I may refer to one, but
Yeah.
but this is a perfect thread because
Yeah.
because I'm assuming I'm going to make this assumption that most of the people that are watching this, you did a generous handoff to me and kind of started me doing this, right?
Which is doing amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
Very
Well, it's
proud
good.
of
It's
you.
good.
It's
Not bad
It's
for
doing great.
for a
It's
guy
doing
that's
amazing.
like doing Medicare, right? So, but you know,
Yeah.
that's deflection 101.
Yeah,
by the way.
it's good.
It's
Yeah, but,
you got deflection 101. Start strumming. You notice I'm not holding the guitar right now. But
this is my whoopee, man. I need this. Yeah.
But this is stuff that I want to know
Yeah,
because
man.
and we've known each other, to be fair to everybody. When we
Long
met,
time.
I was probably in my mid 40s, so you would
Yeah.
be in your early 30s.
Yeah, early 2000s, yeah.
So
yeah.
and we met. I can't remember the first time that we worked together, but
It was a movie soundtrack.
oh really?
Yeah. McHugh hooked us up. I remember. I think he told you about me, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
a bunch of people were because you were coming up through everybody. You'd played on the road.
Yeah.
With Y at that
Right,
time,
right.
Winona, Judd, and you played with a couple of people, right?
John Fogerty and shit like that. Yeah. And I think you were working with Chris a lot at the time. Drummer, Chris McHugh, amazing drummer,
Yes,
dear friend.
yes.
And he said, I want to tell Dan about you. He needs to hear you play.
Yeah.
And because we used to do demos together.
That's what it was.
And then it was some movie soundtrack. And I'll tell you this. I think I've told you this before, but let me restate. You know, you've always been a very hot producer in this town, and people have always sort of looked at what you're doing and they'd copy you. This is whether you know this or not, but this is true. And so when you started hiring me, everyone was like, "Who's that guy? We got to get him."
That's how. I mean, it always goes like that, right? Yeah.
So once you started calling me, everyone called me because of you. And I think I've told you that. I hope I've
You
told
have,
you
you
that.
have, yeah.
And but man, it was. I remember Russ Paul, another session buddy of ours. He goes, "Man, I've never seen anybody with a more meteoric rise to the top of the session thing than you." And honestly, it's all because of that.
Well,
It was,
I'd love to take more credit, but I mean, I had the same experience. I had a guy named Robbie Buchanan who did that for me when I started my session career, and and he would say the same thing. It's like somebody's gonna discover this. It's just and so there's no pat on the back for. I wasn't the first. Chris McHugh would have been before me, but it was a moment, and it wasn't hard because when you plugged in and started doing it, you had such a skill set that I don't have as a guitar player, and it was mutually beneficial, right? We both kind of buoyed up each other.
We made some good records.
Yeah.
Damn good records.
Great, and then we got into that Keith Urban cycle, which was astounding.
Yes.
But
it's also very fun and crazy.
oh yeah,
Crazy but fun.
but
wasn't
yeah,
it?
just well in Wild West, shooting a
Yes.
bunch of guitar players around,
Yes.
holding guitars, playing ideas, and I will say that Keith was wonderful.
He was.
And just for being the kind of star that he is, he would always he was so drawn to anything that was happening in the room, and it didn't matter who played it, right?
Fantastic.
But
Great energy.
But what? Okay, so this is here.
Yeah.
Here's me. This is also transparent. I'm trying to control the narrative here
I love
before you start asking me questions, because that's going to happen. I just know it. But
I'll find a way, Dan.
You're so much better. I'm going to be putty in your hand, but I'm going to get all my licks in first. I'm just jacked up here. So, but what I'm really curious about, genuinely curious about, is your whole journey through, to finding session playing. Because am I right in saying, I feel like we've had this conversation, I mean, you were in Cleveland, you didn't know that was an option in life.
Yeah, I mean, it was not on my list of what like if someone, when I was young, what do you want to do with your life? I clearly knew I was going to be a musician.
Right.
There was never any question. But I just figured it would be some kind of band or something, that I'd play. But I never had those dreams of like being in a band. It was never like, I'm going to start a band. Like I knew I was going to do, I just wanted to do something professional. Mm-hmm. That's why I moved to Nashville. I didn't really even care what kind of music I was playing. I just wanted to do something pro. I was tired of like playing like $50 a night cover gigs and stuff like that. I knew I could do something more, and I always knew that I was the only guy in those early bands that was listening to the other guys. I could tell. This is a common thread. I've noticed this. All these people that come to Nashville from these respective hometowns, Nowheresville, they were always the only guys in their bands that could listen and play at the same time. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
Because most guys, like when you're an amateur musician, you're just trying to play your part, and that exhausts all your energy. So to be able to play your part and really listen to what's going on, which is an absolute requirement for a session player.
Oh, 100%.
But it's difficult, and most people can't get to that level. So I always knew, like, when I was like in those cover bands, I'd say stuff like, I'd joke around with the band. I mean, I like when you changed to the second verse, and they were like, "What are you talking about? Well, you played it different than you played it last night." Did I? They don't, they didn't even know. And I'm like, okay. So I knew there was something unique about my brain in that regard. So that's why I thought I could do more. And sure enough, when I got here, I realized that I was one of many people that felt that way. When you're on a session with high-level players, we've talked about this, the listening is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, you change one little thing about your part or something you're doing, and everyone notices it, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, that to me, my two favorite things about music is collaboration, the power of collaboration, which is fascinating, and that high level of listening. That is what I live for. That. I mean, when you're playing with guys that are that good, and you turn the knob one number on it, it's like, oh, that's better. Like you notice, they notice that.
Yeah.
Because when you're growing up and you're playing in terrible bands and stuff, like, there's none of that. No one can tell. You have to club somebody over the head for them to even notice what you just did. You know what I mean? So I think that's what I love about it. That's what I like about being in the studio too. I'm even the older I get, the less I want to play live, and the more I just want to be in the studio, because I am such a control freak about the way everything sounds.
Right.
I just can't stand it when you're on a live gig and it's like it sounds terrible and you can't fix it. I like being in the studio where you can fix it. I'm sure you're the same way. Oh, man.
I am, but and the only reason I'm not answering that is because I got one other question, and if I answer that, then I'm going to lose my question for you.
Okay.
Because it's an observation first about you. I've never been so focused in my life. This is really good. You're
still gonna get you.
You've already started to get to me. I was
I'm
ready
still
to
gonna get you, man.
You can get me. But this is an observation. This is really hard.
I'm still gonna get you, man.
Yeah, Robert Baker is sitting back there laughing his ass off. He's like,
Yeah.
Man.
So okay, tell me about this observation. How how this affects you.
Yeah.
We were talking about ego before.
Yeah.
Before we started really taping.
Yeah.
Guitar, to be a session player, to be a good session player, I think you have to have a very healthy ego,
You
right?
do you have to be a musician? Yeah.
A guitar player, when I came up through the system when I was young, I was very competitive. I was obsessed with chops at the beginning,
And you had them.
and
you
pretty
still
good,
have 'em, yeah.
but so your guitar playing goes so deep and wide. I'm just discovering stuff about you all the time. And do you remember I called you after that gig I came and saw a month ago?
Yeah.
What I've witnessed time after time with you in the studio, you seem to have this uncanny ability to not need to prove yourself as a guitar player.
Yeah.
And that's extraordinary because when I played sessions all the time, I mean, I was a good listener and I played all these things. Yes, I haven't come, but I struggled with it because I had this insatiable desire to always be the hero.
I get that.
And I had to fight against it. And I was really good at tamping that down. So
get that.
with that setup,
Yeah.
I mean, any tamping down, or are you just so obsessed with what you said that you don't even think in those terms?
Man, honestly, I just want whatever is going on to sound great. If it means play nothing.
Yeah.
I just want the product to be great. Whatever we're doing, whether it's a gig or
But
Or, you know,
did you start with that when you started playing sessions? There had to be a moment when you're coming through the system that you had to establish yourself, because when you're jumping into the deep end of the pool with all the established guys, when we were talking about a few minutes ago, there had to be a time where you're planting your flag.
There's a bit of that. Yeah, it's natural. Like you'll do a session, there'll be 5 songs, 4 of them are pretty ordinary, and then there's there's a Western swing song or something that somebody throws it, and you better be able to play that shit if you're gonna be on a session like that. When it's time you play a solo, man, if you can't play that shit, you're gonna look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, whatever it could be, anything, any style. But so there are certain moments in the session world where you actually do have to prove yourself. Like, I have to go out there and play a killer one-take solo. And I'm glad that I've practiced enough in life where I feel like I can confidently do that. But generally, all I care about is capturing the emotion of the song. We talked about this. Whatever. Like, if I picture myself going into character when I play a song. Like, if the song has like a kind of a greasy sort of gut bucket sort of rockabilly tinge to it, for example.
Right.
Like, I literally picture myself wearing the outfit and like going totally getting the exact right sound to be that guy, and just playing all the licks that you hope that guy would play. Right?
Yeah.
Divorce it completely from me and just become a character. And I love doing that, man. And that's I just go, it's like acting. You just like go into a role. Like, okay, now we're gonna do a real chill kind of Eagles song where it's all like acoustic 12 strings and stuff like that. And then I become that guy.
Yeah.
And like, if people say you're a chameleon, you have to be a chameleon to be a session player, but I like to really go there, and
You're chameleon because you enjoy all those nuances, right?
Exactly.
It's not that you don't have an identity, but it's just that when your curiosity outstrips your desire to be known as one thing.
And it's really fun for me when I can nail those. Like, if you conjure me this image, if I can do it, and everyone's like, yes, I'm like, that feels good. Like, when people say, I want it to sound like this and this and this, and you're like, okay, I think I can do it. And you go dial up some shit, start playing, and they're like, fuck yeah. That feels great. Like, I don't care if it's like, it doesn't, I don't even think about that's me playing. I just want to get that character. And I want to stay in that character for that song, that feels good, man. Like, yeah, I guess you're copying things in a way, but to me, it's more like you're evoking and conjuring images and feel. Because all this music that we grew up on has emotions and feelings attached to it, and when people say, I want it to be like an early Elton John thing, or whatever, it's like, yeah, we all know what that feels like, but can you get there? Do you know what guitar to pull out? Do you know what sounds to dial up? And that's just being a musicologist that's listening to a million records and all that stuff. And I think that's one of my favorite things about being a session player. I love that.
What's the worst thing that being a session player has done to your musicality, your musicianship? That's.
Yeah.
But I mean, by the way, I could have just said class is over, school's dismissed, and your whole description right there, to me, perfectly framed what makes a session player.
Yeah.
I mean, the necessity, but there to everything, there's always a yin to the yang.
Right.
Like, if you're a session player, like you said, the word chameleon, right?
Yeah.
There has to be. Well, the positive effect is that you're able to go into any situation within reason, right? There's going to be a few situations where they ask you to do something that you had no basis.
You don't want me on gut string, for example.
Okay. Well, see, now I'd like to hear that. But there also has to be like something that being this diverse takes away, like, as opposed to somebody who is doing the one thing.
Right.
So how's that manifest in your career, or do you even feel the effects
I honestly
of that?
think that there is not a single thing about learning the massive learning curve of becoming the session player has done to damage anything. I've learned, all that has just made me learn and learn and learn and learn and learn. And man, every day, I'm sure you're like this too, man. We've been around, man. We've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
And still, you go in and you learn a new trick. You'll see somebody do something, you're like, fuck, man, I never thought of that. That's killer. And you add that to your little collection of things. That's what we are, is we're like a little filing cabinet full of ideas that we learned along the way, and we bust them out at the right time, our influences. I think all that stuff has helped, man. Like, I've been lucky enough, like, to work with a lot of really great musicians, a lot of great producers, yourself included. Man, every one of these moments, you walk away with a new understanding. And there's no right way to make a record. Everyone does it differently.
Sure.
And but man, as long as it ends up sounding cool, it's great. And man, I don't think that any of that's damaged anything. I just wish I had more time to learn more, to be honest.
Wow.
That's really it, man, because I feel like I keep saying late bloomer. I feel like I'm just now getting to the stuff I should have been doing in my 30s. That's how I really feel. Like, I feel like, I wish I would have had this information, this skill, this ability back when I was 35. I would have killed with that.
Well, you were already killing it anyway, so it didn't matter.
It's just,
I
you
get
know what I mean? I'm sure you got that too. I know you know stuff now that you didn't know that.
Yeah, but this isn't about me.
I know. Okay. You just keep saying that.
Good try.
Yeah.
Now it's getting old trick. I watched another observation. This is just a small facet, a tone facet. I watched.
Yeah.
You remember when we first started working together? I would call you you had the definitive Brown sound.
Brown
in that.
sound.
Not necessarily just Eddie, but borrowing the term.
Yeah.
It was the velvet cushy bottom end, and it was. But my only complaint was every once in a while is that we get in the mix and you can't. I can't hear it. I can't. Well, it was the definitive guitar tone, but. And so anyway, so my question, I've seen a metamorphosis.
Yes.
Let's just use the broad term. You found mid-range.
Absolutely.
And tell me about
I remember vividly. Like, this is one of a million things I could put on the list of things that I've learned from people that know a lot more than I do. And man, every one of them I'm thankful for. Mm-hmm. And I remember working on records with you and Justin Niebank, and you guys would say, like, man, it's a cool sound, I just can't hear it. And it's like, they would say, turn up the mid-range.
But just for everybody to know, you could hear it. Like when he was playing it, it was gorgeous. It was like a guitar sound that you would covet as a guitar player. But then once it got in with the rest of
it gets, what happens is it's not phase, it's masking, it's frequency masking.
Yeah.
You can get an amazing guitar tone, real big, fat, lush neck pickup tone, and it sounds incredible on its own. And then as soon as the bass comes in with it, it sounds like an AM radio. Yeah. Because it takes away something, the battle of frequencies and the guitar loses, big time. And that's what I was struggling with back in those days, and you guys were the ones that really turned me on to the power of mid-range. I remember Justin Niebank going, mid-range is your only friend, man. Yeah. As a guitar player. And I think, how it's funny, do you ever watch with little kids when they first start playing guitar, they're afraid of mid-range? Like, I've noticed with my little boy, I was this way. And with Marshall, when I got put on a Marshall head in his room, and he's tweaking it, and he's like, man, I don't know if I like it. And then all of a sudden he dumped the mid-range all the way down. Yeah. And he goes, that's it. Yeah. It sounds like Pantera. and he loved that sound. Yeah. And I'm like, wow. I used to think that was cool too, because mids are kind of harsh. And when you're young, some of those frequencies kind of turn you off a little bit. It's more inviting to have a big hollowed out Fletcher Munson curve, But man, like you said, you can't hear it in the track. And all you got to do is boost that mid-range, and all of a sudden, that same sound, you don't have to turn the fader up. It's all there, and it works in the track.
But it exposes. It also exposes you. Exposes your technique.
Yes.
Because you can really hear. It's like remember when you told me about that Rickenbacker guitar, which I
Yeah.
ended up loving. Never played those guitars.
Yeah.
When I first I started playing that guitar, it was like, oh God, this is because it's all like it comes in blaring
Oh,
mid-range
it's
to you.
janking, yeah.
And it just shows everything that you're lacking in your technique, right? That's what it is too. As a kid, I think because you're hearing what you're not,
Yeah.
and that high
Oh,
plug.
yeah,
You know.
man.
But
yeah.
but have you
Yeah.
have you gone into the stories about who you learned from the master on this with Joe? Have you gone into that, or
little
could you
bit,
repeat a little of that just for?
This is fascinating. I really want to. I think this will tie in. This will be a great way to sort of kill two birds with one stone. Question-wise here.
Yeah.
I was on a session the other day at Sound Emporium. We were working on a Ella Langley record, and Miranda Lambert was producing, and we were having a ball. And Rachel Loy was playing bass, and they were joking around about the question thing. Miranda's like, she's like, I love your questions, because I'm always asking questions. Yeah. She said, I'm going to think of a question for you. Miranda said that, and Rachel joined in with her, and they're like both sitting there trying to think of a question for me, because I've been asking all these banger questions and getting the whole room lit up. And so after a while, Rachel comes over to me and she goes, I got the question for you. And I was like, what is it? And she goes, what's the thing that a producer said to you in your life that was the most painful, but you needed to hear it?
Ooh.
Man.
What was it?
Fascinating. And I want to know yours too, and I'm not just trying to turn this around. But I remember, Walsh was one of them, but it wasn't on a session. It was on a live gig. But I'm a big fan of Bill Bottrell, who's one of my all-time favorite producers.
Yeah.
Sheryl Crow,
Yeah.
fucking Shelby Lynne, Michael Jackson. He came over to my house when I had my studio, and we were working on a record. And I was writing songs with David Barrowald, who's an amazing writer. Wrote all the songs on the Sheryl Crow's first album, et cetera, et cetera. So it was a nice surprise to have Bill Bottrell, one of my heroes, in my little studio. And we're writing some music and recording. And I remember at one point, I went to do like an overdub on the track, and Bill was really into it. He was like into the track. And I go, I think I can add a cool guitar thing. And he's like, okay, let's see what you got. So I started playing, and you know how I'm pretty good at doing those sort of really sensitive, very sort of soft, sort of delicate parts, that sort of
Delicate, but with a lot of humanity and grit to it.
Well,
I'll
thank
add
you.
all
Thank
that
you,
stuff.
man. Thank
It's not just precious. It's got all the volcanic.
Well, thank you.
stuff.
I try that. That's what I'm going for. But I remember I was doing that, and he goes, he was right across from me in my little studio. I'm there. He goes, man, play like you're playing for the whole world. And I was just sitting there going, whoa, man. Like, he's like, he was so right. Like, everything you do should have that intent, All the shit that we loved, love it or hate it, growing up, all the intent was there, man. Like they weren't, it was all done very deliberately, right? And sometimes I think like we tend to see in Nashville, we put too many parts on records, and there's a lot of sort of forgettable little sounds that sort of just take up space. And they're cool sounds, and they do sound good, but in the end you end up with this soup where there's just like a lot of sort of nondescript things that all could sort of go away or come along, and you don't really notice it or miss it. The thing about those Beatles records, every part that's on there is very intentional, and like they all serve a purpose. If you mute one of them, you're like, what the fuck just happened to the record?
Right.
But we've got a lot of tracks on these sort of Nashville records that you could mute them and nobody would really care. It doesn't really do much, but it maybe adds a little, And I think he was picking up on that. Like play something that has, like, give us something, like don't just make noises just to sort of create an atmosphere. Just play something.
Right.
And it's very similar to what Walsh said to me one time. We were open. I think I mentioned this on my show. We were opening the set with that old song called Meadows. Remember that one?
I
It's
don't.
very It's exact same riff from Deep Purple, My Woman from Tokyo.
Okay.
It's like and the band comes in,
Right,
but
right.
it starts with an electric 12-string,
Right.
just by itself, playing that. And you know how when you play an electric 12-string, sometimes you like to graze the strings because it just sounds so beautiful.
Right.
If you just bang it, it doesn't do the thing, you know. So I remember we were at the rehearsals and I'm opening the show, and that's the first thing you see in the Joe Walsh thing is me playing this 12-string, right? And I'm up there and I'm playing it real, grazing it, trying to get the tone. And he goes, "What are you doing, man?" He goes, "You're playing in an arena," and I'm just like, the most obvious, thing. It's like, yeah, there's no room for subtlety.
Right,
We're opening the show in a fucking arena.
Yeah.
And you're over there playing it real chill. Like, don't do that. And I think that both of those are the two that stick in my mind. They both have a similar meaning. Like, play with intent. I think this is the gist.
Yeah.
If you're going to boil this down. I'm not trying to spin this around, but I do need to know yours. I do need to know, because I know you've got a good one. Thing that a producer said to you that hurt, but you needed it. You needed to hear it. It's a great question. You have to admit, it's a fucking great question.
I'm gonna have okay. This is an honest answer. Nothing's coming to mind yet.
Okay.
Now you got to remember, the majority of my session career was in my 20s and 30s. So, and the part that people seem to be very interested about is my years in Los Angeles.
Right.
And I was playing in the deep end of the pool for sure, but I was in my 20s.
Right.
So I didn't know anything. I knew enough to get in the rooms, I guess. I mean, because I was there. Kept getting invited.
And plenty of other people wanted to be.
Yeah.
they
So,
weren't.
but I was.
Yeah.
But how much do you remember from your 20s?
Right.
That's.
Right.
And so my experience was more. It was more. I just was throwing stuff out, and people were going, "Yeah."
Right.
Now, I mean, I had some tough times. I mean, I showed up on one gig that I was so excited to be there for, big rock star. I didn't realize it wasn't even not reading the room. All my shit was sent there, and that's not what they wanted. Somebody could have picked up a phone and said, "Just show up with a tube screamer," and that would be perfect. They didn't. So I got all this spaceship stuff, and that was a tough thing. But that's not really the same category.
I've seen people lose gigs over that. Just before they even get there.
Yeah.
The fact that their cardage showed up turned somebody off.
Yeah, and
Right.
obviously, 10 years, 20 years later, I would have known enough to ask those questions.
Right.
But the time that I came into session playing, it was in the bold 80s, and it was just everything was out there. The nice thing, it was one of two tones. I joke about it all the time. Is either it was a chorus that was just freaking, that chorus stuff is still saturating in the universe somewhere.
dude.
It was that, or just full on just distortion, and it was that. So we didn't have to. There wasn't a lot of nuance in the '80s.
Yeah.
Well, there was the Motown stuff. So, but that was it was strictly clean. It was so well defined.
Right.
So I didn't run into those. I mean, I would work with some very cool, esoteric kind of producers who would try to pull different things out of me.
Right.
But it wasn't not the Bill experience that you had. And
yeah.
but if I promise you this, if I think of it,
Okay.
I'm gonna just blurt it out because
I need to know.
I mean, and also, well, I'll add to this, just say face on the question that I can't fully answer yet, but it's gonna haunt me. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call Robert, and I'm just gonna get on my iPhone and do just, I'll probably have had a gummy, and I'm gonna sit there and answer this and say, Robert, put this up.
Yeah.
But I had some of these experiences where because I didn't know anything, someone would stop me dead in my tracks and maybe present me with a whole other alternative.
Yes.
Mutt Lange did that for me.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't know what I was stepping into, but it was not that same thing. But I love that.
Yeah. Man. Man.
I mean, I had people do things for me as a session player that when I couldn't do it, they would carry me over the line, and I didn't even realize it when I was a kid, you know.
Right.
So different experience, but okay, so you're going to have to ask another question that's going to be successful, but I don't want to leave the Joe Walsh thing real quick yet until I button up the one thing about mid-range, because to me he is the quintessential person. He's always understood we're mid-range, and he seems so he's not fearful about it, right? Can you speak? Remember you told me that one story about him checking out amps and stuff like that?
Oh yeah. Well, you know, I only toured with him for 1 year, and that was 2017 on the last Tom Petty tour. To be honest, I've never been in the studio with Joe. I've only played live with him, and we still play occasionally. We do 1 gig a year,
right?
And but so all my experience with him has always just been on stage, and man.
Is this a story you've told a lot? Because I don't want to make you.
No, I love this.
I do. I love this.
Actually, what was really funny is, like, you know, when you hear his tone on the stage, it's like, I'm not the only person that said this. A lot of anybody that's worked, it's like very bright.
Yeah.
Very
upper mid range too. I mean, it's like this the honk.
Like I remember being at rehearsals. We were rehearsing at this place called Mates, which is like the SIR of LA. You've seen it. Yeah. And while we were doing these weeks of rehearsals, getting this tour together, they kept bringing in pallets of amps for Joe to try, 2 at a time, like hundreds of amps, just like on a conveyor belt coming in from. I don't know where they were all coming from, but he was like, he'd set up 2 Fenders, you know, and he'd play for a second, and then they'd play a couple songs, maybe play for an hour, and then they'd bring in 2 more. I don't know what he was looking for or what he was doing, but to be honest, like, they all sounded exactly the same to me. Like, that's just the way he is, like the way his hands are. And I remember at one point, I walk over there, and they just brought 2 new ones in, and he played a couple chords, and it literally sounded like a fucking ice pick. It was so thin and bright. I couldn't believe it, and I thought he was gonna laugh. I thought he was gonna say, "Oh, this amp's a piece of shit."
Right.
He looks up and he goes, "Pretty awesome," and I was just like, "Is it?" I was like, "Okay." I'm like, "Okay, I'm the asshole here. It sounds terrible to me, but I don't know what he's looking for. I mean, he's Joe Walsh. What the fuck, you know?" So I always thought, well, I'm over there on my side of the stage. I had a couple of really sweet, old Fenders, and I had this big, fat, beautiful, like 2-amp sound, real sweet. And I remember, like, rich, but still had some teeth. Yeah. And I was very happy with that. But he would say things like, "Man, it sounds like this when I'm playing," because he's really, if you're too loud, he hates it, and if you're not loud enough, he hates it. Mm-hmm. And I said, "Man, Joe, I've got to tell you, man, it sounds fucking amazing over here." So we solved that by turning one of my amps a bit, angling it more towards him, and then he was happy because he was hearing the side of it, and it was not bright enough for him. So, but once I angled the amp a bit, he was thrilled. What really got me was I would go out and sit out at sound checks. I would go sit out in the audience, empty arena. Mm-hmm. I would sit out there. We're opening for Tom Petty, these giant places. And when the techs try the guitars, the rig's set up, and we both had our own techs. I'm standing out like in like the 100th row listening to the guitars, and Mark Reese goes up and plays Joe Walsh's rig, and it sounded incredible. Mm-hmm. And even though it's just ice picks, on stage, incredible in the arena. And then my guy, Eddie Shea, who's a good guitar player, comes and plays my rig, and it sounds like this. And it's like, I'm like, and I started thinking, there is no limit to how much high end you can have in an arena. Yeah. I think the more treble you can stand, the better. If you try to make shit sound too warm and rich in an arena, pointless. Yeah. Big lesson right there for me. So those are the types of things that I learned from Joe. Sort of Captain Obvious, I've noticed it in the studio because you have more teeth.
Oh,
definitely.
Man. I mean, but that's an understatement. I mean, it's like you're finding those places, and it's never a set place. It's not one size fits all. Right. You're always. I've never seen anybody work with a 5-band parametric like you do.
Yeah, and the small amp sound and all that stuff. just love it. And man, you know, there's a like you said, you know, we used to always joke around like there's no such thing as a bad sound. You just got to find the right application. Sometimes you need that real small combo sound.
Yeah.
To just be just a beautiful little angry little guy over in the corner of the mix.
Yeah.
And sometimes you want just a big rich 412 thing. And there's no rules about when and where. You just got to know when to use that stuff, right?
It's all relative to something else, and it's predicated on volume too.
Totally.
I mean, this will sound self-serving, so I'm going to just do it because why not? This is my YouTube channel. I know, I love this. No, I say this is something that this is not on my notes, by the way, too. This is but
I thought you were just checking your emails.
No, there was something that meant a great deal to me that you said. I've already spoken to the fact that you were seminal in getting me off my rear and kind of re-engaging with the guitar.
Yeah, man.
So I got this record, and you were one of the first people I sent it to, right? Finished it. It wasn't even mixed.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was mixed or whatever, but you said something that totally caught me off guard.
Yeah.
Because when I'm sending something to you, I gotta admit, I felt a little vulnerable. I haven't done this in a while.
Yeah.
I like the music, and I like the way I play, but that's another story. But the first thing you said, I dig the tones.
The tones, man.
And coming from you, who I always, you have a rep as kind of being like the tone, like
dude.
you're kind of like the quintessential. I'm not blowing smoke. I'm just being honest.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you notice I haven't told all your album credits. I don't do that stuff. I'm not any good at that stuff.
They got the Google.
Yeah. Google.
They got the Google.
But that meant a great deal because my journey wasn't a journey that I didn't even intended. It ended up it was with, and I've talked ad nauseum about it, but it was with an amp that was just somebody said try out, and I started writing songs and quickly forgot about that. But everything that I did was relative volume. I just, because it was my record, because I was sitting in this very room, I just turned it up louder than everything.
Right.
So all of a sudden, a tone that I may not have understood became a wonderful tone.
Yes.
But if it's 5 decibels lower, it changes totally. So even just volume is, and I told you that story about I've said the story, but about being on that record with Eddie Van Halen and hearing his guitar lowered in a mix. And it was the same sound, and what the difference of that sound. It was still the same sound, but you didn't perceive it the same way.
Man, no shit.
So that's the session playing thing, because you have to be in the setting and adjust based on every other variable, right?
Absolutely.
And that's what most people don't, when they hear licks that we play in the studio. Well, hell, I could play that.
Yeah.
I just did a thing about it as a producer. My first episode is that.
Yeah.
Taking off the guitar player hat and just going to producer. And what you're looking for as a producer is not somebody to...
I wish I would have done that episode for you. I could have done that.
What,
I could have told them what's great about you as a producer. I could have went off.
Well, okay. I'd like to know what you don't like about me as a producer. I think that'd be more interesting. As a matter of fact, you can answer that one.
You should have let me do that.
Worst story about working with me. Well, as a matter of fact, we'll save that. As a matter of fact, you know what I did? Yeah, I had that one.
That was in the list.
Just for fun. I said highs and lows of working with somebody like me. You've already said the highs. It was nice. There's got to be a low point. Come on.
The only low I remember was not your fault. It was my fault. I was going through a weird phase in life when I was much younger.
I mean about me.
I know,
Do I say too much?
Let me just say this. Even though I was going off in the weeds personally, you've always been super cool. Like there was a point where I started getting, my ego was a little out of hand. I was very losing perspective, and I was like, I thought I knew a little something more maybe than somebody else, and you asked me to play something and I didn't want to play it, and I tried to play some other shit, and you're like, man, just play the thing I asked you to play, like that's why you're here, right? And I gave you some shit about it, and I remember just thinking, man, why did I do that? All he wants me to do is just play the part. And I'm like acting like I could change it into something better. It was a phase I went through, but that was the only low I remember of us ever working together was that, and it was just me. It was not you.
But okay, no, we all go through shit like that. But like, there's got to be there's things that, I mean, I work for a lot of producers, and there's things that, of course, I never got asked this question. I probably wouldn't answer it.
Yeah.
But now, since I can put you on the spot,
Yeah.
there's got to be things. I mean, okay, I'm going to turn it around. Like what I learned, what it's taken me a long time to learn as a producer, I'm finally getting there. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I would have hired myself as a young guitar player, because the young me wouldn't take no for an answer.
Yeah, right.
Like I was going to do it again until I liked it, but but tell me if this is true. Now I am turning this around on me, I guess at this point. So this is fun, but I felt like I had to come loaded for bear, right? That's the cliche. Like I had to have all the ideas to basically affirm the fact that I was a producer.
Yeah.
And now I'm very comfortable hanging on very loosely. I'll let everybody, at least what I try to do, everybody become owners. And it's like, because I'm going to learn something, right, by the collaboration. When I was early on, I came in with a little more dictatorial.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I did, right? Come on.
Nah, but the only difference I notice about you now and then is you used to get more tracks, more takes. That's the only difference.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only thing. Like, I think you were
Interesting.
more concerned about making sure you had everything.
Yeah.
And I think once you learned that you don't have to be that thorough, and you could fix if you only needed half of what you were getting, you would have still turned it into something awesome.
Probably what I was
getting. And that's the only difference.
guy.
But you've always been a joy to work with. And I'm not just saying this because I'm on your show and I'm in your house. What I love about you, and I've said this to a million people, you're a very sweet guy, but you're also very knowledgeable. And if you know exactly what you want, and if you can explain what you want. See, there's a lot of people that can't do that. They're nice people and they're talented, but they can't tell you what they're looking for. And it's difficult because you're chasing a ghost. It's like, I don't know what you want me to do. You can just say, well, here's what I want you to do. And I'm like, I love that. I mean, that's
being a
great.
guitar player is easy too.
Yeah.
But that's also
and you're also cool about, like, you'll send somebody down that road, and if they come up with something better, you're like, that's better than what I said.
Yeah.
Do that. And that's fucking great. I mean, it gets a little grinding sometimes when you have to do a million takes of a song.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you lost all your energy, you know what I mean? And then the drummers, they had theirs 20 takes ago. You know what I mean? I feel like I feel bad for those guys because they already had it, and we're still trying to work out little details and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and that is part of session. I mean, there's no one size fits all because the final result is the measure.
Yeah.
So, and if it's painful, my metamorphosis is only because I've been doing it so long. I'm looking for some new way to get there.
Yeah.
I feel like I've done it one way long enough.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's not successful. It's just I need challenges. I need to hear new things. The new Wild West for me is less.
Right.
Because I've done layered records forever.
Yeah,
Now I like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so which
raw.
good,
good,
which is
which is good.
I did have the best compliment. I won't say what it was on, but there was this artist who was going to work with me. This is one of these great backhanded compliments. It's like it kind of hurts when they stick the knife in. But he said, because I got to be cryptic enough on this. He said, did you do that record?
So-and-so
He said, because this is, and I said, why? He said, because of course I'm going, why?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, because that's kind of like the direction I'd like to go. And he goes, I just didn't know. I was shocked that was you. And of course I said, so translation is I put so much crap on my records. You didn't think I could do something that was raw.
Right.
But I think that's part of what you were saying. There's always something.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing this. You can learn something new.
Oh, dude.
And
every day.
Collab is there's nothing.
Every day.
We all have I always say we have 3 licks, and then exponentially you pass it around the room, and that, and then you take that, through a week, and you've got 1,500 licks at that point.
Boy, I love the way someone's half-right idea will turn into someone else's amazing idea.
Yes.
I love when someone says, "Man, what if we try this?" And there's like, it's not really right.
Yeah.
But it started a train of thought, and then someone takes that and improves it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, fuck, if I would have never said, or if that guy would have never said that, we would have never got to this.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Well,
It's
and
fascinating.
you have
Love
to,
that.
and this is, I guess, part of
Right.
that we inhabit studios, sharing with all of you guys too. The hardest thing I will say sometimes, just with the ego, is to be fearless and in the sense that, or vulnerable, because some of the worst ideas I've had, and embarrassingly bad ideas, like we were talking about, like music before we started rolling the hard drives, and I told you about my fascination with Barry Manilow, which people can't.
Yeah.
You know, if you know me personally, you could make the connection, but people who knew me only through rock and roll music could never make that connection. Well, fast story is I was trying to impress my girlfriend at 13 years old, right? But it's like all those things that you pick up from. Well, for instance, this is my fascination with the way he does music.
Yeah.
I like modulations.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, and it can either be, 99% of the time, it's the most uncool thing to do. And I've been in sessions when I've said, why don't we do a modulation? And the response is utterly.
It's a hard sell.
It's just humiliating.
Yeah, but it can be amazing.
Every once in a while.
It can be amazing.
Yeah,
man.
so
it can be amazing.
You can't be afraid to be wrong, right?
No, I love them too. It's a very guilty pleasure. When it's done right, it's shocking how cool it is.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to do it right. But when you think about, modulations were a huge part of music for a long time, and they have disappeared.
Well, we've been in a harmonic drought.
Yeah, like what? Yeah, it is. Yeah, like think about how many, like those Supremes records. Every one of them, there was 100 modulations.
Yes.
All the old country shit.
Yeah.
It
Classical
creates,
music.
repetition.
Yeah.
Like it's gone.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it disappeared.
Tempo changes.
Yeah. The last use of modulations was when they in the Whitney Houston Star Search era, when they would use mods to show they can even go higher.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And like soar with the Eagles. Right. That was the last time that was found, and then that was it. After that, it was like.
And then it became just uncool, because it's as music does it. It's the younger generation is going to go whatever that was. No matter if we liked it in the closet, we're not stepping out of the closet. That's uncool, and we're going to do it different. You know.
What do you miss the most of all the great things?
This is what we're waiting for.
Yeah.
It's great.
Of
I'm
all
gonna
the
sit back.
Great things about music of yesterday, modulations included. What do you miss the most?
I miss chord changes.
Yeah.
I miss not having the obsession with coming in under a certain time.
Yeah.
The necessity of telling a story so quickly. Cut and paste is something that has a great function in music. But this idea that you must get everything out within the first 30 seconds, almost an ADD culture.
Yeah.
And so the storytelling has to be so quick or people get bored. I stutter a lot when I get it's like Sherry, my wife, always get to the point, and the more she says it, the more I stammer. But when I listen to music, I like to be taken on a journey. So I don't want the whole story told by the end of the first chorus.
No.
When it gets to the second chorus, I like new lyrics sometimes. I like new parts. Getting to our little neck of the wood, I just realized that what I love about music, a lot of the music that I loved in the 70s, is space. Like, we weren't obsessed with filling in those awkward gaps. Like, you have a sentence, you say a lyric, or you play something, and then you just groove. And then you're grooving. And you don't demand anything new, because you are happy to wait and anticipate the next sentence or the next lick.
Right.
And we, again, some of this is cultural, some of it is just,
Right.
and it will come back around, all of this. But the sum total of all that, and throw in a good modulation for good measure. I miss that in music.
Yeah, man.
And that's, but that's okay. So 30,000 view down. Let's micro focus that into guitar playing. I mean, so take that question and expound on that from a guitar playing standpoint.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all part of this. I mean, I feel like an ancient man when I talk about this stuff, because it's like the old guy bitching about, what happened to, our city's not the same as it used to be.
That's okay.
All right. But I think it's all related. It's not just guitar, it's everything, it's just this whole, like, quick edit, fast cut, low attention span. And it's created a style of music, right? It really has. And man, there is no patience, there's no development, nothing, exactly like you were just saying, all that. So you have to start playing that way. Like, I've learned how to play like that. I've learned how to sort of get really, from these records I work on over and over, like, play something fucking super hooky in that hole right there, because it needs it. There have been, certain producers I work with, if a couple bars goes by and there's nothing in that hole, man, they panic.
Yeah.
And it's like, I like that space like you do, but man, there's got to be something in that hole, man. And it's like, so instead of resisting it, like I would fight, like, oh, leave it, I just do it now. Because I know they're going to put something there anyway.
Right.
If I'm working on my own stuff or something I'm producing, I don't do that. I make it the way I want. And I was going to say that too, I love how, like, on a really good session, when you've got 5 guys or whatever that are really great, any one of those 5 guys could make the record. Really could be. You've got a great producer, you've got a really great band. And really, what I think the producer, my favorite thing when I get to produce records is that you just get to make everything sound the way you want it to sound.
Yeah.
And it's great. Like, if the drummer produced it, it would be cool, but it would just be different.
Yeah.
If the bass player produced it, it would be, it would be different. But I think it's great. Like, all producing really is, unless you're working with a terrible band that really needs help, where you got to teach them all the parts.
Yeah.
Right. But when you're playing with great musicians, it's just, let's just paint this the way I want it painted.
Right.
That's what you do.
Right. You're the one with
great.
the responsibility.
Exactly.
At that point, that's all it is.
Exactly.
But, like, from a guitar playing, okay, I'm gonna take. First of all, this is my normal mid. I have no sense of time. Robert, how are we doing time-wise? What are we doing?
You're about an hour in so far.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. So I'll land this. But okay, so here's an experience. It just, I was asked to go and be part of a guitar camp.
Yeah.
Never done that.
Yeah.
I've never felt. I've never instructed anybody about anything. As a matter of fact, when I was in high school, I taught
Were you
2
nervous
students.
about it?
Huh?
Were you nervous about doing it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
That would make me.
And his name is Andy Wood, who is just a
Amazing.
beast of a guitar player.
Yes.
But and Andy, he said, no, just come do what you want to do and play some songs off your record. I said, okay, I can do that. And I got there. So fast forward, man. I'm there, and I realize I'm the most remedial guitar player in the whole bunch. Okay, so that was the first ego thing. It was like, oh, it hurt.
Yeah.
And I realized it really quickly too. I had a sense. I mean, it was painful at first, but then I had a sense of humor about it. I thought, and this is kind of part of my question, 30,000 foot view into guitar playing, because it's not the old man thing, get off my lawn, the Clint Eastwood thing. No, we don't want to be that.
No.
But we've touched another era.
Yeah.
I go 10 yards farther back, but we're all kind of groping with each other's memories, and there's some things that are so integral to who we are because of our forebears, right? And Andy was so he was so kind to me because he said, look, I studied you when I was a kid, and so and I get the idea. It's like of course I'm sitting there going, what in my guitar playing took you to this point? I'd like to. Can you show me? But I realized that all we have is our voice.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And as guitar players, I think we all got this alpha thing.
Yeah.
that were kind of like wide receivers on a football
that's
team.
true.
Give me the ball, man. Give me the ball.
Exactly.
And
Yeah, exactly. It is very, very much so. I never thought of that, but wide receiver.
yeah, I mean, not the quarterback.
Yeah,
I want the long pass,
exactly.
man. I'm going to do the dance in the end zone.
Yeah.
But
That's very true. I never thought of that.
part of me though is it's like without judgment. This is more my curiosity because it's evolution will take place. It's like we get into the discussion. We won't do that, the AI discussion.
Yeah.
But I want to stay curious about everything, including where guitar is going. I don't have any control. It's not mine to control. I just am a piece on the board, so to speak. But there are certain things that I notice. Just like we notice about social media, there's great things about social media and horrendous things, and I'm sensing. Tell me if you feel this. And again, this is not.
Yeah.
This is not. Well, everything's a judgment, so I won't even say that. But the intent is not to. The intent is not to elevate myself.
Yes.
Because I've just said it when I went into this thing and I sat and listened to Andy play. My first thought is, oh, and then Paul Gilbert was sound checking. I'm just shrinking. So anyway, and the list goes on. So then all of a sudden the epiphany. No, I'm just going to speak with my voice. I can't speak with their voices.
Right.
But with social media, in the sense that we can just get on our phones and experience hundreds of guitar players that can do younger more than we ever probably will be able to do. You see 10-year-olds do it now.
Right.
So without being the old get off my lawn guy, what do you say that's valid? I mean, you got a son who's playing guitar. You got a son who's playing drums.
Right.
But what's the valid message? Not the slow down, son, and it's not the old dude saying. But what's the valid message? From your generation, because I'm a half generation past you. So like, what do you ever think about stuff like that?
Well,
if you're asked,
I think really. I mean, I know I don't really want to have the AI discussion either. I know you don't want to, but I think maybe this is wishful thinking, but I think I was talking to Dan Auerbach the other day, and I asked him about AI. And like he goes, man, I ain't worried about it at all, man. He's like the shit that humans have been doing for the last 10 years sounds like computers. He's like, which is absolutely true. And like, we're trying to sound like computers. And I think like the AI will be able to do that better than we can because they are computers. But that will push us into being more human. And it will make us go, well, the only thing we can do now as musicians is to delineate ourselves from AI and do something that AI can't do. And the only thing that we can do that AI can't is be human. And so I think it could be good. I mean, everyone's painting this sort of doom gloom thing about, AI is going to take all your jobs away. Yeah, it'll affect lots of jobs. I wouldn't want to be a graphic designer in this day and age, things like that. But I think it could open a beautiful renaissance of like making us be human again. Because we've not really been trying to be human. A lot of us, right? I mean, there's always been artists that are really human, but they're sort of like down here. All the music that people really like these days is really popular. Is very computer driven, very
or just the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I mean, then you go into some of the other artists who are just totally denying any and all that.
Right.
Now, and they're not on the well, there is no Billboard Hot 100. I mean, there is, but it's not driven by that cultural stamp of approval. A number one song anymore. It's just out there.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're saying that
I think it could be good. It could force us all to really start looking more at our humanity and like.
I like that.
Because everyone loves, like, when you hear like just the sort of unfixed mistakes on old Stones records and shit like that. Like, everyone loves that. I mean, still.
Yeah.
Like, everyone loves that they just left it on there, And it's so cool. And like, we've reached this point where no one does that anymore.
Yeah.
They don't put mistakes on records. And maybe it'll bring that back, and maybe that'll be like the thing. Maybe that will be cool again.
Yeah.
And that would be awesome.
So from just the guitar standpoint, I mean,
Yeah.
again, and the way I was setting that up, I'm sitting here thinking about it. I don't even think I had the right setup because, first of all, these guitar players it's their voice. They built on like we all do. They built on the backs of the generations before
Absolutely,
them.
yeah.
And it's staggering the amount of knowledge that some of these players have.
Yeah, it's incredible.
At some point, you wonder when it's going to just explode, because is there any more knowledge to have? Well, of course there are, but like, maybe I'm answering my own question. It's in what you just alluded to. Maybe at a certain point of saturation of everything, then the next question, the only question ultimately is, who the hell am I?
Right.
What does that mean to when I'm holding one of these things?
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
At a certain point, I mean, that's the thing, because before any of the, well, that's why I was kind of interested in your early years in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Because everything we're talking about right now would be totally changed if you hadn't spent those
That's right.
first 10 years
That's right.
wandering in the Ohio wilderness.
Totally. Remember how, like, I'm fascinated with, like, the whole bluegrass, the origins of bluegrass, like the way Appalachian music was, where like, there was no recorded music back in those days. Like, if you were like you had a little porch party and somebody came over that could play the shit out of a fiddle and a mandolin,
Right,
and they would do it live in front of you. It was like, hell yes, this is going to be a great night. Everyone's in a great mood. I think that we're going to get back to that. Like, we're going to get, it'll become more valuable for a guy that can sit right in front of you and do something amazing, or a singer that can come right in front of you with no tricks and just like real talent. I think that is the way of the future. I really do. I don't know, it sounds very weird, but like, I think that's what's going to become the thing that people want. Like, man, I think this is really cool that somebody could just live right in front of you do something amazing.
Well, that's how I experienced you. Sorry to interrupt, but that when I called you, you remember we were talking the other day.
Yeah.
I came in, you and Tal did that
Yeah,
gig.
yeah.
And I mean, just for well, there's no way all of you could have been there, but what blew me away, and this is what I'm growing in. I've known you for a long time, but when you guys played Sleepwalk the first song,
Yeah,
right?
we did. Yeah.
And
great old song.
Yeah. But what blew me away? I mean, what you played on it was great. What the whole band played, it was wonderful, and everybody's in their lanes and listening. Yeah. But what got me, and it's me projecting probably on my own. I don't know if this is going to help any of you guys listen to this, but we all project our insecurity. So here's the scene. This was Tom's and Tal Wickenfeld's gig. It was billed as y'all's gig, right? Okay. So the proverbial stars are up front, and Tom got out there and was so not trying to impress anybody. That, and the power of that, I remember thinking, because I've got my one reunion end of tour gig coming up here, and I kept thinking, God, let me have that kind of wherewithal to sit in a situation. Maybe you get so much affirmation that you don't need it, but something tells me it's so you go a level deeper in your love of music that you're just give these folks the answer you gave to me.
Yeah, I love that stuff. I love when someone makes a bold statement, but it's very sparse. I've always been a big fan of that, whatever instrument they're playing. The old joke the old joke about the bulls looking down over the field of cows. The old joke. I've talked about it on my show a million times. But like just having it's all about the intent. If you come up to the front of the stage and you just bend the fucking note and just let it hold and just let it eat, and you just do it with a shit ton of intent and purpose, it goes right through people like a knife, man. And it's fascinating. We've all seen the greats do it, you know. It's just so impressive to me when people do that. It's just like the strength of that intent is really, really awesome. And when I was younger, I didn't understand that. I would play too much. I would you know, I would not have that kind of authority in what I was doing, you know, when I was first starting out in my 20s and stuff like that. And that's the thing. I saw people doing that, and I would be like, that's what I want to do. And like, I just, over the years, have honed the ability to just fucking.
When did the flip really switch?
Well, I think I remember a couple key moments, you know, where I would be at a certain gig and I would see somebody play something that was just so simple but so powerful. One thing that comes to mind, this is a pretty esoteric reference, but there was a bar in Nashville called 12th and Porter that's closed down. It was very popular many years ago. I went there to see a rock band, and they were pretty popular, and the place was buzzing, man, super loud, everyone talking, and there was an opening act, and the opening act was Ross Rice from Human Radio, the amazing band from Evan. He is insanely talented, amazing singer, keyboard player, guitar player. And he was opening this show by himself with an acoustic guitar in this loud ass club. And man, everyone was just talking and, you know, going, you know, fucking drinking, clanking glasses, you know. And he got up on stage and started playing, and he played so quietly and so inside that just slowly, without anything, but it was so compelling. Everyone just turned and looked at the stage like he just grabbed that room with it very inside, barely playing, but it was so compelling, they all just shut up. You know, so much more effective than if he would have got out there and tried to like get over the room, you know, and like that kind of shit is the magic of music to me. That is like, you know, Jeff Beck could do that. All these people that we love could do that. They could sell you on just something very simple, right? Yes, it is great to see somebody do crazy flurries once in a while when it's needed. It's cool. It's like, wow, they got that too. You know, they can do all that. But if they can't just kill you with one note, man, or something real simple line, and the way they phrase it, then I don't really care about the rest of it. Like, I need that intent in a player and a singer, and you know, especially a singer. Like the way a singer will hit a note with no vibrato. And then right as it's dying out, just put a little shake on it, you know, just fucking that kind of shit gets me, man.
See,
I love that.
What I'm trying to sit still right now because I'm getting so excited. I'm so inspired because because I'm gonna try to do that, and I'm gonna fail because I've been very open about one thing. Usually, if I start playing fast, it's because I don't have any ideas. And I'm a place holding, you know. I'm not all the time. Sometimes I'll do something, but it's the discipline. And the reason I'm asking you is because you're younger than me, and it's like you have found this Zen place that I'm still struggling with. Maybe because I quit for a while, you know. But it was so obvious that night. And your description of what you just described at 12th and Porter is what I experienced.
Yes.
And that, you know, that place was jam packed, loud as can be, and you were so counterculture in the way you did it.
Right.
And well, it makes sense with what you're saying. Even AI is going to be here. Yeah. You can't put that back in the box. No, you got to coexist.
No, it's here forever.
I did have an experience. I won't go into it now, but I did have an experience where I was doing something with Keith Thomas, and he showed me something. He did it so he could just film my response.
Oh, okay.
And I did tell him, I said, I feel like I'm at the edge of an abyss.
Yeah.
And I was so conflicted because it was the magnitude of what I just witnessed.
Can I guess what it was?
I'll
probably never. He probably did some kind of AI simulation of you playing.
But it just took it. Yeah. It was as beautiful as it was.
Yeah. Disturbing.
And I thought, no, let's just sit here with that, and I'm not going to even. I'm not going to even make the decision whether I'm going to sit here and enjoy it or jump. I'm just going to sit in this. And what you described is great, because that's a way to incorporate. I wasn't even asking you that question, but that's because it keeps you curious, right?
Yes. Yes.
But it's because you're self-aware enough to go, the specialty is being able to sit there and the note.
Yeah, dude. All that stuff, man. And man, that carries on into life. When you, it's not just music. When you come in a room and you start yelling at people and talking loud, they check out. If you want people to, be drawn in, bring them in slow statements and soft, and they're like it's more compelling to them, and they want to, I mean, we've seen people do that. Like it's actors do that. Like the subtlety is way more intriguing than just like, I think people are a lot smarter than most people give them credit for. A lot of artists and people that make art don't think that humans are able to pick up the subtlety. That they feel like they have to plow them with everything. Like, no, they're never going to get this. You got to hit them over the head with it.
Yeah.
That is absolutely wrong. Like, yes, there are some people like that, but I think people are really good at like picking up on that kind of stuff. They're smarter. Your audience is smarter than you think they are, and like you don't have to beat them over the head. If you give them something really cool and subtle, they're going to get it. I don't know. I've always thought that, and man, it's fascinating, man. But like, I don't know. Some music just tries too hard to club you over the head.
It's part of pop culture,
It is.
and it has its place. But okay, so where does this mean? Like, you're creative on your own. Obviously, you have this session career. You can go out and play live when you want. You've been going out with Vince lately too.
Yeah.
But like, and I hate to ask this question, but no, I don't hate to ask it. I want to ask it because I love your records. The thing you just did with Guthrie too, I love. But so in your and I promise I'm gonna land this plane. I'm not gonna this could go on indefinitely, but we just like talking.
We do,
This is
man.
good. But like you don't have to tip the cap. But like, what interests you even in where you're writing? Where is your writing taking you, or is it just one of these things where you don't even ask those questions and you just let stuff come out?
Man, I was just thinking about this. Like I've been playing for a long time, and like I feel like I keep saying the late bloomer thing over and over and over. I'm doing things with a guitar now in my hands. Maybe most people might not even notice it, but I have actually achieved some of the things that I've been trying to do for 50 years.
Wow.
Touch things.
Yeah.
Little subtleties, things that I've been trying endlessly to do that I just could not quite get it right. And I feel like I've finally gotten so a lot of this. Like I go to do something and I'm just like, that's what I've been trying to do, and I could never quite get it. And it's like I remember Vince talking about that. Vince Gill was talking about that with his voice. He was saying, I finally sing the way I want it. Like I can't even listen to my old records. And I think we're always like refining our voice, and like all these little things that only mean something probably to me. Maybe nobody else even notices it, but this is the way I've been trying to play it.
Right.
And I've finally got it, and it's like it's a really cool feeling to like go. That's exactly how I wanted that to sound. It's weird, isn't it? Like because I never thought I'd get there.
Well, I mean, when you said the statement when we first started talking about how you were in your 30s and the Beatles had already done everything.
Yeah.
So that's an isolated. Most people don't do that. I mean,
right. Yeah.
Don't you feel like it's only through experience that these things? You didn't even know the questions to ask.
Yeah, exactly. For the average person like myself, yes, it takes a long time. Like I feel like late 30s is when you really start getting it. That's when you start understanding. And 50, a magical thing happens at 50. You just have a clarity.
Yeah.
The average person. Some people are brilliant in their 20s, of course, they're the outliers.
It's not a race, though, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
right.
like
Not a race. Yeah.
And sometimes we've witnessed it too. You get too much too quickly.
Yeah, too much too quickly.
And I'm not even talking about money. I'm just talking about just that rush of so much that it's like the analogy. Sherry she's like such a tennis fanatic.
Yeah.
So I watch a lot of tennis, and so have you looked at these tennis players their right arms? It's like Popeye.
Yeah.
Right, so their left arm, in comparison, looks atrophied. Their left arm is probably like twice the size of my legs, right?
Yeah.
But in comparison, they got the Popeye, and I feel like that's when you if you're that anomaly who conquers that when you're young,
right.
You're just Popeye's right arm.
Totally. Yeah.
And everything else there has to be some balance, right, with life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming that your sons are affecting the way that you even grab a guitar, right? Without having to make that mental, what is it? It's not like you have to define it, but you're affected by that experience, right?
Oh, dude, just yesterday, I went to this, they're both in School of Rock, which is great. It's like the privately owned place where all these kids jam and they learn songs, and you've seen it. But just going to it was a concert, like recital, where all the kids in the school did a big concert recital, and there were different age groups, and just sitting there watching, man, it's like how when you go to, I said this in my video, you go to like a kids sporting event, you can tell in 2 seconds who's got it and who doesn't.
Yeah.
You look at the field, you're like, well, that's the star right there.
Right.
And same thing with this music, like 90% of the kids are just average kids, but then there's like 10%. It's like, well, he's got it. Yeah. On any instrument, you could be like, well, it takes 2 seconds to notice it.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. I think that I think a lot of, you read online, some of these parents put their kids into things like that. I heard that music's good for them. Kids don't really have any real natural musical ability, but the parents are just sort of encouraging them to do, which is great. Sure. But man, when you mix that with a kid that actually does have some natural ability, it's very cool.
Do you have this is we're talking also before we started doing the proper interview, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about the vulnerability
You're doing a great
raising.
job, by the way.
Say what?
This is a very professional interview. You're doing a fantastic
right.
job.
You notice how he's trying to look at my notes discreetly? Yeah, that's
Isn't he? He's doing great, isn't he?
Right. Robert, thanks.
Whatever he thought he wasn't doing right before, he's got it now.
There you go. Good. There you go. Yeah. But, okay, this is wait, hold on. I'm just going to say this is my last question, but let me make sure it's my last question.
You didn't leave out any bangers, did you? Make sure we got all the good ones.
Okay, you kind of answered my big one. I think you've already answered, but I'll get asked
there
this
is
one.
A big one. All right.
Yeah, I don't if it was a banger.
You got time for this?
Me?
Yeah.
Robert usually talks. If he gets bored, he'll say wrap it up.
Yeah, right.
But do you think?
Mm-hmm.
The second I did this, I feel like I'm
Tom
Bukovac. This is weird. This is a little bit out of body. What do you think?
Yeah.
I can't imitate you very well, but that was close.
Yeah.
But basically, we were talking about the vulnerability in raising kids, right?
Yeah.
Your son's coming of age.
Lord.
I know what my answer to this is, but and this is kind of a leading question. That's okay if it is.
Yeah.
But in your life experience, your maturity, can you feel that vulnerability informing the way that you go at music, or the honesty in that? Because there's no hiding when you're raising kids.
Right.
I mean, they don't care if you're Tom Bukovac,
Right.
this guy who is loved as the session guy, the Uncle Larry guy.
Yeah.
Any of this stuff, the guy who asks great questions, I mean,
Whatever
and
it is.
Siri said the other day, she said he's just cute to look at too. Aww. Yeah, that's something. But the thing about it is I mean, do you? Because I guess okay, I'm going to answer my own question first.
Yeah.
I feel like that this life experience that we have, you can't extract it from your music. It is so a part of it, and if you and how. So, but so all the you got the wide receiver thing, the ego, the vibrato. But how is this being the dad of two young lads coming of age? How is this affecting everything that we just talked about when you pick up the guitar?
Everything. I'm in a unique position because I've built a little world where every day, if I want, I can get in front of 100,000 people who ever watch my silly videos and literally improv. And that's basically what mood I'm in
Yeah.
every day. So it's like a musical temperature being taken.
Yeah.
Like, and man, I work that. I love that. I mean, like if I'm in a nasty mood, I'll get on there and play some nasty gut bug. If I'm in a really chill mood, and I think people almost read too much into it sometimes. Like if I play something really depressing, they're like, "Man, what's wrong, dude?" You know, it's almost like they get too concerned.
Right.
And like it's like, no, I was just trying to goof around a little bit with a different feel. But like people love to read into that. But it all comes out, man. Like not so much as a session guy, because you have to do what's in front of you and whatever the job is. But when you're just improvising alone in a room, boy, it all comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And writing songs, you know. Are you gonna do? I recommend this, by the way. I don't know if you plan on doing this, but as you continue your show, man, I think it would be really cool to incorporate way more of you just sitting and playing and fucking improvising and just making up shit, because it's really good for you. It's like,
Yeah.
It's like it's a muscle. Like it's like sort of like if you don't do it, you forget how to do it. But
Yeah.
like when like that whole improv thing, like you've got so much music inside of you and so many things you could do. Man, I think if you ever run out of things to talk about or just are playing, man, because you could do it all. And just it's just like, I think the whole world would love to just sit and watch you experiment and play shit.
I'm you know, that's funny you ask that, because
You don't have to make a track, just play.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
that's I think that's great advice, which I will take.
Yes.
For me, just long story short, it's taken me about a year
Yeah.
to I didn't totally atrophy as a guitar player, but 25
Far
years of
from it, my friend.
well,
Yeah,
but 25
far
years
from it.
of my day job.
Yeah, right.
It just does, because you don't have your guitar in your hands 8 hours a day.
Right.
And so now I'm doing that, and you know, with that your confidence rebuilds.
Yeah.
And also the age thing too, you start letting go and going, I don't care if I make a mistake. I mean, that's not going to end my career. Right? I mean, so what am I hiding at this point?
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing for me. And that's why I asked you that question, because my life, you know, now I'm a granddad.
Yeah.
My grandkids aren't the same age. They're younger than your kids. But so I'm going through all that.
Yeah.
My kids are adults, you know. I mean,
Yes.
and so everything in my life, my dad told me when I was a kid, he just said, the best piece of advice, he just said, it's all one. You're not, I mean, and that's not a new idea, but
Right.
he was, I was bitching about an algebra test that I had to take.
Yeah,
And I think I said this, so Robert unfortunately has to hear this twice, but and he was saying, because he knew I loved guitar. That was it. That's the only thing I cared about. That algebra test, believe it or not, is going to affect your guitar playing.
Wow.
She said, just trust me.
I see.
He wasn't manipulating. Well, I suppose there's some subtle manipulation in there.
I
but,
love that though. I
but
think it's cool.
Well, because the idea, it's the intent.
Yeah.
It's if you care, it's like in different religions. You know, they prioritize doing the task, whether it's sweeping, helping some people, loading something.
Yeah.
Do it as if it's an act to
Yeah,
whatever,
right.
however you define God. It doesn't matter what religion you.
Right.
But that's the same thing. So the 20-year-old Cleveland Tom,
Right.
as opposed to the 50 plus. Now, how old are you now? 50.
56.
Okay, so I got you.
Yeah.
I got you about 9 years. That's substantial. I mean,
Yeah, you look way younger than I do, which I don't know how you're doing that.
no. Well,
I don't know how you're doing that.
yeah, I mean, it's the right alchemy of making sure the whites don't get too much, but keeping enough white so they look like I'm trying.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another subject. But I mean, I feel like and I'm going to chew on this, and this is me trying to land the plane now.
Yeah.
But I, what you said though, I think is rather profound about the AI, the as opposed to leading with fear, which we're all, you know, the healthy modicum of fear is okay. But you taking that to that place of putting the preeminence on that one little thing that we have
That's all we got. That's all we got.
and it's everything.
It is, man.
So,
yeah.
but everything is affecting. I mean, like you say, one little nuance by somebody in a session, one moment with one of your kids,
Totally.
like you were telling me about the drumming. Is it's not Marshall's Leo's the drummer.
Yeah.
But every one of those things and the stuff that you're doing, jamming with them, all that stuff. I love all that. But
Yeah.
all that's got to affect you also as not just Tom the session player, but Tom the artist now, right?
Yeah. Well.
I mean, you got a 3-tiered career, right?
Yeah.
You're an artist.
Well, you know, I suppose. I mean, to me, I'm just a session player. That's all I've ever been. You know.
I have to disagree.
You know, I just, you know, I made a couple of records, but that's what I do. Is a
Yeah, but
session
that's-
player.
but
I'm not a songwriter. You know, I've never been that.
Well,
you know
those
what I
songs
mean?
are pretty.
It's just not. It's not where my heart's at. I just like to play.
Really?
Yeah, I just like to play, man.
So you're gonna make it, but then but then the YouTube thing, that's art too.
Yeah, I think that is just explore. That I love that kind of exploratory improv. I don't really call that songwriting. I guess it is, but it's sort of just creating moods and things.
Right.
You know, I like that. I probably should have been a soundtrack guy. That probably would have been, if I ever would have gotten into that world, I could have really done something with that.
Well, you're just 50. You're
You know,
mid-50s. You got
well,
plenty
I
of
know,
time.
yeah, but people always say that, man, I don't know why you don't do movie soundtracks. That would have been great. But you know, just creating, because I get bored so fast. I know you do too. I mean, even if I was really great at one particular little style, I would get tired of it immediately.
Right.
I just have to keep trying different shit. And that's, people always say, why do you always mess around with all these old guitars, buying all these instruments? What I'm buying is the inspiration.
Right.
They all give you something.
Yeah.
And like, that's the gift of those guitars. There's you know, I used to joke when people say, laugh when people say, there's songs in that guitar, songs, but it may not be songs in the guitar, but there is inspiration in it. And man, sometimes you pick up the right guitar at the right time, and it's got things that it wants to do, and you just ride that wave, and it's fucking awesome. It's the best.
Well, and
awesome.
thanks to you. Oh, this is the perfect way to end too.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
gift you as a result of that gift that you kind of receive.
Yeah.
You gift it out. I mean, because somebody like me who's not, I'm just the kind of a weird duck guitar player. I've never been. I'm not a collector, but it's neither here nor there. It's not good or bad. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
But like when you
You
look.
got some killer guitars.
Well, yeah, but when I'm looking back at there, I see Tom Bukovac all over those.
Yeah,
You know.
I gave you a few of those.
Yeah, and well, also, and you got me playing stuff that was not in my comfort zone. And so, and I know you do that to everybody because it's you know the running, It's not a joke, but the running. What would be the equivalent? Everybody acknowledges.
I'm the matchmaker.
You just that's it. You're the matchmaker, and you because you love it, and that curiosity is that's the compelling thing about you.
I love that, man. I love looking around a session and everybody's favorite instruments they got from me. I think it's cool. Like I look over and the guy loves his bass. I'm like, man, I got him that. It's a cool feeling. It's like, I mean, the same thing if you set somebody up with somebody they got married to, you know, on a blind date. It's great.
Well, and I will say this too. Every guitar player that I know in Nashville, all the guitar players that will play in my sessions, I hire a lot of guitar players.
Oh yeah.
But when you come around, there is a deference. It's not because now. Well, and actually, I mean, but just because of age, you're now one of the senior guys, right?
100%.
But the deference, well, there's a deference because of that and a healthy respect, genuine but there is this thing. He knows something about that next instrument. So you see all those guys kind of nudge up to you, and I see it. We all see it. Come on,
man.
You got to love that.
Oh, dude, I love guitars, man. I always loved them. And I don't know why I've always been led to sort of I feel like one of my jobs here on my brief time on this planet is to help people, educate people about the joys of cool guitars. Because I don't know why, no one's paying me to do that or anything like that, but I just feel like there's a whole bunch of people who, if they got a chance to try this shit, would love it.
Yeah.
And I know that the shit's gotten out of hand with prices, and it's not. I don't like how expensive all this stuff has gotten. It's taken a lot of the joy out of it, to be honest. So, but I feel like it's my job. Robert, you know, and I've helped a lot of people like learn about vintage guitars and explore them. You know, that's why I buy and sell so many. I'm not trying to collect and hoard. I'm trying to learn.
Yeah.
I'm trying to you can't really learn about an instrument unless you own it. You have to try it, use it in different settings, in so I buy all these guitars and play them, learn about them, and then sell them. Just keep the cycle going, just to sort of build up my knowledge base. That's what I'm doing.
Is it true that I have this one guitar that people tend to be interested in because I played it on so many records?
Yeah.
And I was told when I bought it, and I've always talked about it, it was a 1963 Strat. Is it true that you saw that thing? Because somebody told me, was it you, Robert, that told me that you saw it and you said, no, that's not a 63, 64.
It's got a transition logo. What is that?
So now I've been having the hardest time calling it a 1964 because I've had what 30 years or 40 years of calling it 63.
Well, they didn't start using that type of logo.
See, everybody knows that.
Yeah, it's whatever. Who cares? You made it famous. You're the guy that built that. And the celebrity instruments are funny to me. Like I think it's amazing that people get so worked up about these celebrity instruments. Without the celebrity, it means nothing. No. I mean, all these people get so like. I mean, I've seen museums. I've been around that shit. Yeah. And everyone's so excited about paying all this money for these celebrity instruments. Without the guy that made it famous, it means nothing. It's just a guitar. That kind of stuff cracks me up. Although I will say, if there was one celebrity instrument that I think really is worthy of, it's Willie's guitar. Oh yeah. I mean, that thing is as famous as he is.
Oh yeah.
It's like, have you ever been around it?
No.
I've been around it a couple of times.
He played on something I just did.
Yeah.
But so I've heard it.
And just get next to the thing. It's like that whole rig. It's the same. That amp and that guitar have been together. And then when you get around that stuff, man, it's like, it's got some kind of creepy, weird sort of power. It's amazing. I usually don't even notice celebrity instruments. Like I don't care. Right. But that is different.
Well, if you repeat it enough, at some point it becomes synonymous. Yeah. I mean, where does Willie end and the guitar begins?
Oh man.
It's the same. They're the same thing.
It's amazing. Quick Willie story, and we'll close this out. How's that? This is funny.
We'll keep trying
I played a couple. You worked with him. I've worked with him 3 or 4 times.
No, I haven't worked with him. I mean, I was producing something. He played a guitar solo for it.
Yeah. I've done a couple of gigs that, like Dann was gigs where we're honoring him, and I'm in the house band.
Oh wow.
And it's always great being around him because he's so musical and great. But we were doing one a while back, and he was just standing there at a sound check. Willie was up on stage, but he was just standing there, like waiting for the next thing to happen. Yeah. And he was just by himself. And I'm like about from as far as you are away. And I thought, well, there he is, Willie Nelson. My chance to he's bored out of his mind. He's just standing there and nobody's talking to him. I just walked over to him and I go, Willie, can I ask you a question, man? And he's like, yeah. He was super sweet. I go, that old beat up strap that he's always got that it's like as important.
The red, white, and blue one.
Yeah, it's as important as the guitar. Yeah. It's a combo. It's one of those sort of mariachi band straps that goes around his neck. Yeah. I've been seeing it on album covers since I was a child. Mm-hmm. I said, man, that strap. I go, is that the same one you've always had, or is that like, do you have more of those? And he goes, no, it's just the only one I've ever had. And I go, do you remember where you got that? And he goes, some woman made this for me, and I can't remember her name. And I said, how long have you had that, man? And he goes, I don't know, probably about 5 years. And right as that happened, some woman that was a handler of his came walking up behind him, and she heard the question. She goes, it's been about 50 years. Time means nothing to him. Wow. And in his mind, it was 5 years that he'd been having this strap on.
That says a lot.
Amazing. Never forget it. And it was so funny to me, man. Like, I just thought it was amazing that, he's like, didn't even matter to him. It was just funny.
And I got to say, equal parts. You know how is it Dave Letterman's show? Yeah. And my next guest is.
Yeah.
I mean, I do see a television or cable or a streaming thing. Can I ask you a question? Come on, you can't help. Yeah. So did you?
Man, it was great.
Do we have any other questions to ask each other, or?
Well,
are we done?
I can just say I've enjoyed the shit out of this, and it's
same here.
It is football Sunday, and we don't want to miss too many games.
This is my first actual proper interview, correct?
Yeah.
But man,
Yeah, thanks.
I'm proud to be the first guest. Thank you. It means a lot. I didn't even know that. I just thought you were just having me over for an interview. That's great.
No, it's coming out tomorrow, right? We're doing this tomorrow.
Yeah.
Coming out
It's
tomorrow.
supposed to come out today, but we had to wait to get you. So it's been worth it. Thank you so much, Tom,
Dude,
for all
great,
this
man.
stuff.
This is great. Robert, anything we haven't covered?
Well, I don't know how much time you got because I have about 10 questions from
Give
what
us,
you guys
give
were
us,
saying.
give us a good one.
But
Give us a good
I
one.
have one that I want to throw out there because I believe in like speaking it into existence.
Yeah.
Do it.
Do it. A Book and Dan album
Oh, that'd be amazing.
together, kind of like how you did Trip the Witch, but
That'd be
I
amazing.
think your guys' style complement each other
That'd
in
be
so
amazing.
many
That'd be
layers.
amazing.
Like I think that would be an incredible album. The sonic like landscape of it.
Well, I was going to start that by, I wanted to do, I've been talking about this for a while. Like, it's probably not that original of an idea, but I was thinking about doing an album where I just write like 10 riffs, 10 songs, and then just having
Somebody come in and play.
several people like guests. Wouldn't that be cool to have like a record with like where one guy writes, one guy is the sort of liaison, the only steady, and then you got like 10 different guys. Like it'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Like a hodgepodge of like really great guitar players. Where it'd be fun to do. I've been talking about that for like a year, and I've been thinking about it. And it'd be fun, man, to do like, just to see all these different personalities on one album. It'd be really, I'm sure it's been done before. It's probably not the most original idea. But
Well, I mean, I think
be
if
fun,
you you curate something like that, I would say, I mean, because usually when again the tendency on these kind of records is it's always inevitable, and if we could keep the one-upsmanship to
Oh,
just
definitely.
nothing,
Yeah.
and just because that's when you lose the music,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, no.
So I think it would be incumbent if there's a host, if you're the host,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
And I think you'd be a great host to just go, okay, I've chosen this one,
Right.
because you're casting people because
Yes.
I hear you in this, and let's just be you in this.
totally.
And it's just because like for instance, okay,
Yeah, I'm with you.
because if you have like if I get to guest on a song, great.
Yeah.
I can't be sitting there thinking about you having Brent Mason on another song, and then I'm going to sound, I mean, seriously, that has to be the rule, right? You got to, like the Quincy Jones, hang the egos leave them at the door.
Exactly.
And just serve the music.
Exactly.
I'm going to hold you
that.
up. I'm going to hold
I
you
like
up
that.
as the poster,
I like that.
the poster, not child, but the poster human of starting that movement, because I think that's really invaluable.
Thank you.
And it's invaluable. It's feeding me, right? At my, I'm on the precipice. I'm 64, and in 1 month I'm Medicare dad. You can just start calling me that. And I'm being fed by that, and I freaking love that.
Look at you. You look like you're 30. I mean, come on. You're not Medicare.
It's smoke and
dad.
mirrors. But I tell you, but you're and obviously I'm looking at Tom the whole time I'm talking, because this is a conversation, but this is all of you that are choosing to listen to this. I think this is what doesn't matter what age you are. This is applicable for everybody. So I would think that, and I can say this. I can say whatever I want, right?
It's your
I
show.
mean, it's not. I mean, but I have a gig coming up, and you've been so kind to say that you'll come and play. And we were talking about that.
Can't wait, man.
Love you get to pick whatever song of mine that you like, but also
Total Eclipse of the Heart. Let's do that.
okay, you're gonna make me sing.
You gotta
it?
sing it.
Wow. So, but when I listen to I'm horrible at title. Soul.
Eplexy Soul.
Places. Yeah. I mean, because when I heard that record, I'll never forget when I heard that record, because Chris McHugh gave it to me. And I heard myself wanting to play on some of the songs because of the amount of space. Because that kind of stuff is kind of where I feel more comfortable. You know?
There is a lot of space on that album.
Beautiful.
Yeah, there's a ton of space. But we can do that song if you want to do that song. We'll do it.
Oh, I want to.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Ain't much to it.
Yeah, and then we'll just and
We'll have a rehearsal.
Huh?
We'll have a little rehearsal.
we got 2 nights. No, you guys can't come.
Perfect.
2 nights before I got John McBride has a rehearsal place. So I got 2 nights just for anybody to show up that wants to. And, yeah.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
Dude, love you, buddy.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, did you have anything more? Should we end it?
No, it's good.
Okay, thanks. I'm gonna give you a hug.
Give me
That's
a
it.
hug,
Come on.
dude.
This with the Tom Bukovac hug. You guys got. This guy comes in and is like just slurps you up.
He's
So
a big old boy.
You need to shake Tom's hand. His hand just swat.
I know.
it's one of these
got
things.
them-
I know. It's
you
like
got
yeah.
them big old paws.
Thank you, Robert, for doing this,
too.
buddy.
Hey, I got you
thank
guys.
buddy.
Cheers.
Thank you,
All right.
man. Ah,
There we go.
that is
That's
sweet.
great.
Yeah.